I'm Jason with the All Things Open team. We're here with Taylor. We're going to talk about tech hiring, AI upskilling, and more.
Yep.
Welcome to the We Love Open Source Studio. Please introduce yourself to the ATO community.
Yeah, my name is Taylor Dessen. Excited to be here. Second year in a row, obviously chatting with you. And I'm VP of Global Community at Torque. Torque is a community-first talent platform, right? So think of us as kind of the next generation of talent and staffing solutions. The big thing that we focus on is giving back, right? Upskilling, allowing people to be in community with one another, connecting people, giving them resources to upskill via the internet or in person, and I kind of head up the whole thing. So
cool. We're going to start off strong. You say tech hiring is dead. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say tech hiring is not dead. And here's what I mean by that is that there's a ton happening in the ecosystem, and I think the general nature of it is that, hey, big tech is not where it's at anymore. And then this is what I'm presenting, obviously, in my keynote on Tuesday, and this is what I presented with you guys, obviously, a few months ago. But I think there's just this general mindset of like, I want to get into big tech. I want to work for the FANG. I heard it's Mango now, for the record, which was wild. And for me, it's one of these things where the startup ecosystem is growing tremendously, and especially in the sea of AI, there are new companies spinning up. New individuals are getting investment. One part of my talk is AI specific tech startups, funding is through the roof there, right? And so when I think the general nature, the things that make the headlines right now is Netflix is laying off people, Amazon's laying off people, Microsoft is laying off people. So everybody thinks, oh my gosh, it's tech hiring's dead. When in actuality, if you look a few layers under, it's thriving, it's growing. Torque and Ronstad is growing from a business perspective. So it's really exciting to see. But a lot of that is because of the AI boom right now.
Love it. All right. Well, there's a lot of discussion about AI's role in development.
Sure. Do
you think AI will replace developers?
So I don't think AI is ever going to replace the role of developers. In my perspective, and talking to other developers alike, I think what's going to happen is it is going to probably chip away at headcount, right? I don't think we're going to see dev teams hiring 30, 40, 50 engineers anymore. I think it's going to be, hey, we need to hire 10 really good engineers that know how to use a Claude or a Cursor or whatever, right? The way I kind of think about this, and I've pitched this to a few of the developers that I know to make sure I'm right. Some people have argued against me, but it's fine. I have the mic, they don't. But for me, it's so pre-AI, it was one, like, think of an engineer as like 1.0, right? Like a whole number. With AI, it could be 1.25, 1.5, 1.75, right? So if you need to hire originally 50 engineers, you could kind of take that down to maybe 25 or maybe 20, right? So now that's interesting. It's a whole nother conversation, what does it look like from a staffing industry and talent solutions perspective. But do I think AI is going to replace developers? No, but I do think it's going to cut back on the amount of talent hired at one time.
Okay. I like that. Good answer. So what do you say to developers who are concerned that AI is going to take their job?
So again, teasing my keynote. So I've recruited since 2011, right? Which is, I was recruiting when .NET MVC came out, right? People are like, we need .NET MVC, no more VB.NET, we need C#, right? I mean, and then, I went through the other phase where it was like, oh my gosh, React came out. Oh, we have to have React. And this was a part of my slide for the keynote on Tuesday where we are in that trend. We're in the phase right now where we were with React, in that people can stick their head in the sand or people can learn it, right? And I think right now I want to encourage engineers. This is a trend that you cannot ignore, that you cannot stick your head in the sand, and that you really, really need to invest in. And it's really simple, because you know why? Everybody's on the same playing field, right? Like, everybody's at zero right now. Like, you have senior engineers, staff level, principal level engineers just getting started using Claude, and then you can have an AI, or junior engineer learning AI in Claude and Cursor, right? So everybody's on the same playing field, but you can't ignore it. This is the new way of the internet, right? It's not JavaScript anymore. It's AI. AI, and you have to get comfortable using these tools.
Okay, well, let's get tactical really quick. What can people do to prepare themselves for an AI future?
So I think the first thing is find a mentor, right? I try to put myself in a shoe of a developer, in the shoes, not a singular shoe, two shoes, where it's like, what would I want? And I would say it would be overwhelming right now if I was a developer trying to learn AI and what to do. Find yourself a mentor. One of the things I'm really proud about at Torque is we're launching our second cohort of our mentor-mentee program in January. We're going to get really big on this, right? We're going to have key really principles or topics to get invested in. One of them is going to be AI, right? If you want to learn AI, we're going to match you up with an individual who obviously can help mentor you. There's no way for you to figure this out on your own. We are meant to be in community. That's why All Things Open's a big fan of that. That's why we at Torque are a big fan of that. You have to find a mentor. Two, start talking about it, right? Like, listen, Kanika Tolliver, fantastic engineer on Twitter, she posted a Substack about it, and I read it, and it was great. It was basically just start talking. Like, hey, if someone asks you, who are you? Be like, hey, I'm a senior engineer using AI to empower the next generation of front-end platforms. I don't know, something like that, right? I don't know if that made sense, but start talking about, be known for something. So find a mentor, start posting about, start document your learnings in it. I talked about this in my talk as well. We're just really teasing out my keynote here, but Angie Jones, Kent C. Dodds, both of them. Angie Jones, huge Java champion, Java advocate. Kent C. Dodds, huge React JavaScript person. Guess what they're preaching now? MCPs, right? They're talking about is AI. So you can pivot, but you got to be known for something. You got to start talking about it.
Cool. Well, because you get to talk to so many developers, you're kind of on the front lines and maybe a little bit of crystal ball in the future.
Yeah.
Outside of AI, what existing or emerging tech should we be talking about?
So I still think cloud still runs the day, right? On my episode of Guidance Counselor 2.0 podcast I interviewed an individual in the Microsoft space, Azure space, and this individual was saying it's so hard to find Azure talent still, right? It's so hard to find really good AWS talent, right? Data, right? Data is gold. I know we've been saying it for a while, but even more so now because it's got to affect the way AI consumes that data to make decisions, right? So, even if you're like, well, I don't know, okay, I don't want to get into AI and just from a development perspective, like from a JavaScript perspective or whatever, what else can I do? Look into data, look into Azure, look into cloud services. But also too, I just want to say, I truly think the next evolution, and I've read this in so many articles, people skills and sales is AI can't do that. So for me, it's if you like talking, I'm a recruiter. I started as a recruiter, and now I'm sitting here keynoting a tech conference. What are we doing, right? So again, for me, it's you can get into tech in many different ways. And so if for some reason you can't get the AI role you're wanting, look into other avenues, right? Look into project management, look into being a recruiter, look into all these things for you to get those skills, for you to get in the industry. But again, to answer your question, I think data and then cloud services are really hot still.
All right, Taylor, we're going to end with something fun.
Sweet.
The Hotfix minute.
All right.
Don't overthink it.
I love it. I won't.
This is going to be fun.
Okay.
Yeah. Linux, Mac, or Windows?
It's funny. I don't code.
One word answers.
Mac.
Books, movies, or podcast?
I don't read movies.
Pizza, salad, or tacos?
Pizza, but it hurts my tummy.
Rock, country, or hip hop?
I'm from Nashville, so do I have to say country?
You can say whatever you want.
I'd probably say country.
All right. Star Wars, Star Trek, or stargazing?
I grew up watching Star Trek, so I'm gonna go Star Trek.
Okay. Android or iPhone?
iPhone.
Chat GPT, Claude, or Gemini?
Chat GPT.
The future of AI is helper robots or robot takeover?
Helper robots.
All right, Taylor, you survived the Hotfix minute.
Brother.
Thanks so much. Appreciate your time
that was
today.
Great. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right.